anaju de suma obiada no very important because there were steps parliament enye nene start you Ghana parliament 1948 ho baby from Kwame Nkrumah time na parliament start here Azuma fourth republic e krampo ye bae no we need the ninth parliament and your first time near buying Edim Raba Parliament, no be a catch him saying you refuse or back during budget statement. And I say or the better business statement. So and I saw the better order paper. So and I saw the better emotion papers. I don't know. And you know correct.
And no mama did say agent.
Oh, me say omo buapa no me. Okay, say Abra finance minister be kind budget no. You want to say it one away here fi hono to kure ba beda budget no ye 6 billion abana okay ni ebisa ne say kwan be na obefa so atua sa atokro no okay answer o de mai
say enya so but the lot of was steady economy ne hu say the city e panti wonim enema obetimi ayi
okay and say ye wo VAT refund withholding account 6% bi on je 6% ni na obe reduce it to 4%. Na sa 2% na kan eno di bitua sa tokuro ma producers nhwe na bo ye catch ni say dia wo kan enye no kra because as kan enye savings eye sika da hodeda na wo dia koto different account mu keke unye sika foforo bia number 2 eno na temporary enye permanent untumi mfa temporary revenue enso permanent revenue tokuro no omo literacy ya na e wo legon ya aso mo ye neutral nso no mo ye ndisi adwuma ai na ndisi wie ya o makwa akwaji post no ba ko ka kire nse yen ya bon yen fa asem free ho na we ye smart economic engineering
for example asem
me mo bo bi edi I say in the end no tokro na bedem
neba hu ni se nti na na mo permanent solution eno ye
one city time na oyo ye fi wa ye kan wo person ka kire nse na onimu ana
se adwuma bi wo ho me se wunre mu a won hyeda
me say na da ni intricacy unya hunu ye wo de boboba no nimpefe se o de ade we ba be hye ho but omu di intro tre Ghana for nti fine o if you say na fi de o de 8% no ko de ba na me tell so wakata unim say aban ba wan ka say 8% na me bi so atro so ba o say o just one Ghana city bo bi anto 8% me ko bebre afi ma me kan bi fa e-levy no ho e-levy a omu ebro ya bo so bo ye dua frey ya konfo ya dem say ye atutubotom for 11 na 1% o we 8% e-levy ye bari ye ko round mo bi a kire na dwema yete so we de be share parliament kuntu na say e-levy na sika ye gi say enkofo a ya fa wo mo adwumam omo aketua kakraka ene enyuma mpuntudwuma ye ya ye nya sika nwie ye no ye pay 2 billion from e-levy e de akoye abana be kaya say e-levy no aban ye bibia ma wo akọ transfer usika this aban jo 1% na aban atutu botom MPP aban ya atutu botom aban ono baaye no o say oje 6 billion through this 8%. That is 3 times e-levy
per year 5.7
yes
we're approximating no?
Yes, because actually e-levy you can 1.9 my approximating is 2 billion almost oje 6 billion na say ye 2 billion ye ya to bottom for wa oje 6 billion where dey I say no dey confrontation man
honorable
Debio wa semu a wo kan enenne ye di bua wo for say wo say MPP agi 2 billion e die omo repeal e-levy very parliament madam for Ayarga majority leader o say Ghana for ye di 2 billion a shemu bottom yen ene e domo ene why 6 billion fi Ghana for bottom yen kan say
ye de ka
e kana say mama ncha say enye nokre John Jinapo say we yen fe nkunkutu aka energy minister o say e de kotofan o
so mampanyin so eba be kaka ho say
mampanyin kan ni de first ena energy minister no no gisika no akwakoye ade no eba kire o say wo hwese na your system of government tia mampanyin o tesro minister for na ye adwuma no on be brief bi o ha speech na draft na also akwakokan nipa na o ya ade no say e de kotofan o because e kan de we can catch and say energy sector will consolidate esla no we betu an by December 2026 nti e kan cost ro na say mo anye calculation ni ye nti dia air koso no ye ko ye nim no Ghana for be brebe say ankofo ye de omadwen aye ho adwuma pa o because afin sem bebre a omo kan ye no ye ko ye nim no obon say omo ankasa dane omo no because na no kure ba kokura eni.
Okay.
The accusation that they made
answer the question
so it's your but I've made that point. Haven't I made that fundamental point from the initial point that I'm not a subscriber. I'm not a subscriber to this kind of ugly noise. But they are simply testing a dose of their own medicine, and they can't tell us to shut up.
Very well.
Because no, hold on. He interjected me. As we speak this morning, that is not all. Wait for the bauxite ones. Wait for the bauxite ones. Today, this government, the president, has basically centered and concentrated everything gold in one bosom. They are playing chess game. They are playing chess game with our future. Everybody, you cannot even own your own gold. It's a crime for now to even decide I'm holding gold and I'm giving it to engineer. He gives you 1 cedi for it.
But that's a trade, and you need a license to trade.
But wait, I am telling you, I'm giving you facts. How you appraise the fact is your business.
Goodness.
But I'm giving you facts. You see, so today you are sitting on TV, all agitated, telling us about how somebody is a businessman, somebody is this. The others were sweeping the floor before their brother became president. The others, they were eating from the gutters before the Nana became president. It is painful. You know what is really painful? What is really painful is a bunch of people who believe that they should be treated specially. Look at what these guys did to Gabi Ochedako. Look at what these guys did to Nana Bedi Etu Asante. Imagine, close your eyes for 30 seconds.
We knew them before power.
Hamza, we don't know Ibrahim Ahmad.
Yes, we
don't know Ibrahim Ahmad who issued that check to Merchant Bank. We don't know Ibrahim Ahmad. We don't know Ibrahim. Did Ibrahim Ahmad have? He's a businessman. He's a businessman. Did he have access to our gold? Did he have access to our bauxite before his brother became president? Stop that. I have told you that. I have told you that.
Didn't he have concessions in this country?
Hold on.
Even under President Kufuor, your own president.
Hamza,
what are you talking about?
Dennis, let's advise Hamza that this country, not all of us are stupid. Not all of us in this country.
You are comparing Ibrahim Mahama.
Not all of us in this country are stupid.
Stop it.
Today, it is your government, it is your president. So you are choosing and selecting. I am saying that I pray and hope and wish Ibrahim Mahama is able to have access to this black voter concession. I want it to be owned by him so that people can get jobs to do. I am only saying that. That's why the ownership and it's an advice to him. I'm only saying that they should be ashamed of themselves with how they treated Akufo and and his family people. Knowing what they are doing now. Today, they are willing our gold to one person. That is fine.
Thank you.
But they should close their eyes for 30 seconds and imagine if what is happening today with Ibrahim Mahama was happening under Akufo-Addo with anybody with an Oforiatta name or with an Akufo-Addo or Adedankwa name. That is what we are talking about.
Thank you.
And you should slow down with that.
Dennis.
Otherwise, the sort of things that will come up, he will be surprised.
Thank you, Dennis.
Every day is packed with its own surprises. You never know which thrill is around the corner.
Feel good. Feel good.
Or how it will play out. There's a sense of excitement.
Did our plane just stop? Another cash out.
That adds a little magic to my everyday.
Feels like a party tonight.
iPhone papa ye wo homa
so open iPhones accessories papa dia menhwe baby a
me akwa ba EBA phones and accessories
Sebani EBA yeton iPhones any ho accessories
iPhone 50 XL cost 16 Pro Max. Accessories here were charger, AirPods, any iPhone who akadia nyina. Yanuma ye ni sikapudu e de beto iPhone. Say ya nkrankre, boja, and na say aboye juma your phone nyina. For 40% beji iPhone biya ope. Na ni aka no, wo de bosome miensa, etua ne nkakra. E kwan ya obefa so de achi enyi. Dial *713*5571#. Oba, sheno so se wo de wo Ghana card. Eni nia e chere se wo ye adwuma. Hwehwe ye chere kwan e wo circle mo. Eni tiptoe line ye ni modern photos enchen ho a. Afei so, se wo ba American Mall, ye ni odo right eni di nhwani. Kuma senso ye wo edum Central Prisons runabout ejekum abonsan ni mo. Freyen e wo numbers na ebu screen ni so no. EBA phones, no hassle cra.
Brush, your teeth. Brush, 2 times a day. Brush with Kel-Kit.
Hello, my friends. My name is Kel-Kit toothpaste.
Wow.
I was made to be gentle on your gum, but protected. I will protect your teeth from cavity, make your teeth whiter, stronger, keep your mouth fresh all day. And best of all, I'm strawberry flavored. So put on a smile and try me.
That's amazing.
Just try me. That's my job.
If you say so, jump on my brush. Makes your teeth stronger, chicky whiter, chicky stronger. Yay! You did it!
I'm glad you like your new toothpaste. Don't forget to brush both day and night.
Kel-Kit. Happy smile.
Are you a headmaster, headmistress, parent, teacher, or an educator looking for high-quality textbooks for preschool, primary, and junior high school students? Look no further than Advocate Publishing Company. Advocate Publishing Company is a leading publisher of educational materials in Ghana that publishes very engaging, interactive, and comprehensive textbooks that meet the needs of students, teachers, and parents. Our textbooks are thoroughly published to make learning fun and easy. They are also designed to stimulate critical thinking, problem solving, and creativity in students. Make Advocate Publishing your preferred choice for all your educational needs. Explore our range of textbooks and educational resources. Visit us at the old GNTC yard near Kingsway, Accra. You can contact us on 0503 786 776 or 02408 06354, also 0531 600360, and connect with us on Instagram, X, and Facebook at Advo Publishing. Don't settle for less. Choose the best. Advocate Publishing Company, empowering young minds one textbook at a time. Thinking publishing, think Advocate Publishing.
I'm here at Mycom JA Limited to show you the Promethean Active Panel, the ultimate tool for corporate institutions, hospitals, schools, and your home. With its crystal clear 4K display and an unbreakable screen with an ultra responsive touch technology, this isn't just a screen, it's a game changer. For corporate institutions and in schools, this active panel can be used for Zoom meetings and PowerPoint presentation. And oh, your homes are not left behind. You can use it to watch all your favorite programs by just connecting to a Fire Stick, and you can get access to channels like Netflix and Amazon, and voila, you are in there. At Mycom JA Limited, we provide you with the best quality products from the United States of America with 1-year warranty. You can get an...
Yes, next. Hey, Nadia Benson, Asamo.
Me didn't tum. Mr. Friend, Calico, just call me cockroach. Now, Mr. Friend, me once now.
Hey, that's you. Improve car. Yeah. Captain was key to double the action.
Me did this sasso spray. Mr. Friend is sasso quell.
Yeah, go to my sasso.
Come on, tum preko. Buy affordable service plots and lands from estate masters. Currently selling our next cottage, located at the newly proposed airport city, with a starting price of 25,000 Ghana cedis. We also have Palm Hills, located at Panfukuro in the Gomwa East District, also with a starting price of 15,000 Ghana cedis. Available also is Coastal Park in Lakpleku, which is a 15-minute drive from the Ningo Senior High School, having a starting price of 55,000 Ghana cedis. You will receive a free site plan with indenture once you successfully purchase a land from us. For any enquiries, contact the numbers provided. Estate Masters, your most preferred estate partner.
To suspend I recognize that the honorable member is itching to visit India. I want to assure you that I will not hold my pen from approving your honorable members, please, time is not on our side, but my attention has been drawn to the fact that he's not alone, that he has a partner, and she is outdooring herself straight in front of us. So I thank honorable members for that. The love for the country of India, its people and its culture. And now, with your kind permission, may I proceed to suspend the sitting.
Sir, Obana, Beman, Nessa, a grown yedu of my municipality as a country. I was here sorry. Sorry. Because see the ban is saying, and you see the narrative a bit more try say. Omode bebano oh na enye voter ye de ka say ye mom tumi anase mom fa hudie so omonya na so omonye ye nyina ye nim o kan odi akomajoyonline.com kwadomonline.com ko other online portals awodo. It is stated said the independent expert no a wano na dwuma eye se wo ye hihemu eba no the rights fa hudie wo se wo ma wo mo LGBTQI+ plus na wo no chese bibetumi abeka ho ye dade ye chia de so bibetumi abeka ho. Sa right now was he protect no and no one bad na wo ekwakoto say nipa na dwuma na oye no and resolution na wo magia tum no che say e binding amanya wodua e say UN e wo UN mu nyina ye de Ghana ha ye we ye wo UN ensem bebre na say wo mo ehye bebre no a ye de ye nsa hyase a atete yen ye wo se ye de ye adwuma enti eba ne sense CJ me pese me kya wade wo ha ye hwa mama bia wo Africa say omukọ omu vote no omunya kukudro e vote no e wo UN council no CJ Algeria Burundi, Congo, Cote d'Ivoire, Ethiopia, Kenya, Morocco, Nigeria, Togo, Eritrea, these countries, they voted no. It's Yebesa Yaba Mumpenny for Yebeso more in charge of your foreign affairs. Say, you slow. A day to the Mutume quarter of votes. I say, young votee. Yeah, done time. Papa Bonio, your womb. When you want to say, yeah, so what quiet vote? Said that independent expert now no edin juma the right of sabe yet kofisiba ye yusu sa wede no the right of baba nene wo baba man hwaye wo haya eni ahibia o eni ehunu say yankasa babia ye nyina yakoma wo eni yakasa Ghana ye mudie ejina nipa binya kokodro begina ho no mema ne mema o befefe wo ma no kire yen eti ye bisasa ensema yete ye ebibia na ban biti so yen no ma yete hei ye kaseti e pass ye nyina na obi ani ho fo so enya me deda nyame mpamu se meda so na me baba ma so akwakofa ba ma de ba me abra pokwa me fie nyame ompamu mani kwa chirichiri na yete ase de ase ye kwakọ vote CJ e wo mu say the vote na ka be vote bia na nya significant after all we countries wo mu no vote no Dudro na a vote yes. It would be no ena ejina ye. But at least in ka oman Ghana be make a statement to say. Yeti Ghana ye the day. Na ye see a parliament. Speaker say boss afini koda we ye no. Ye be hunu wakwan so oman ne be je tum. Na wakwa do United Nations. Wakwa tena council so. Wosoma kwa vote a. Kwa na kwa vote yes or no. Na momoti asese asoman Ghana. Ye values and ye quarter and ye systems no etia. Wosoma kwa abstaining. Mami won't abstain na say o chance no de onyina babia on de won to because a bit to say de yempene so a bit to so bopene so Ghana de yanto hwe ye patron panyefo se de mo metie mu omunyina so ne de enti o abstaining from sa voting no. What were your grounds are? Would you take a decision no on behalf of Ablum committee hey on behalf of Ghana? And some mukate in opposition na ye hunu ya na CJ LGBTQ plus. Ena ye hunu kwato aba na wiase nyina hunu se Ghana mfo so na emra na CJ ye no samra kroya ena sa resolution abai no ebe combat because omo tese omo rights ewo mo liberties ewo mo freedom yeti aso se ye besemra na emra no wo se wa Ghana akodo bi man so asan de me de meet to aba say empanyfo me chemu ma CJ edi ti mo si sagina no be se ye komo nyina ekoso no Christian Council yente monka ye wo ha say ye wo carry bishop conferences yente monka madaroma ye wo other religious organizations e wo man yi mu ebre twemu ye ne mo na edi nkomo back to back e fa sansem we hu mama yente monka wasade akoso ye hu yente be kaya no ntum CJ
you see ye di etu obi na wanka bia ochina wanhwa na be kan na mami we Chief Justice. One of the things I am and it's for be brave and penasem and it's a court 2020 no. I'm say 12-0 and I 7-0 scholar. I'll be a scholar on football. Utie sebi. I see doing ketia kra or babe 2 for some of no. Or no so mo no mo kita hwe. Obi. You know, it's sad when Obi instead of reflecting affixing the issues. Obed Daniel to Bisu. Say no no. Me my psychologist imitation. It was a way of energizing the NDC base. Say Sebian Luzu court na I am Brian. So that the base will still be energetic towards 2024. But by doing so, no, what could create situation ama ya 7-0. Ama say no, what's antagonizing the courts. Na only 7-0 no. So mumpe unti de biana yesa. But God is watching. If anybody tells you God plays no role in politics, it's a lie. This woman, Obi, this woman, if she goes on her knees and prays, na Obi, Sebi, ena oyeno, Obi na tatano. I've cited the example of the 7-0. Look at some of the issues now raised here. So, or trust suggesting my president say, or recommend you Obi. Now, me recommend you you see when you look at the some of the nyama mu site no can say lowering the threshold. Ultimately say why obia why na adwin da. Ebi mo imagine that I say we'll deal with this person. Now I feel the next step is how do we get what we need to deal with the person? But like I'm saying, Tony Blair says something very powerful for leaders, and I'll say it. I say when you become a leader, especially when the mandate you got is overwhelming, never be mistaken to assume that it is so much love. Most of the time, it is expectation. And that you will make enemies along the way unknowingly. Don't spend time making more enemies deliberately. Mami way, unknowingly in the bush, I saw your film with fear of feeling. Are there hearts that you are bringing aboard or you are losing? Obi, all I'm saying is that I will
tell you the Charlotte Osei story.
Tonight, we get into the engineers and planners brawl with the Azuma mine. Why is the mine called Azuma? We get into all that. We show you the facts, the history, the details, the Bright Simon's opinion, and the engineers and planners' opinion. What will President Mahama do about this? A big decision for him to make in the interest of Ghana's minerals, especially gold in the Upper West region. Opponents of the NDC are flagging state capture 6 months into the administration of John Dramani Mahama. We get the details on the touch screen. You have to join us. Also tonight, Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa and Sam George, as well as President Mahama, are coming under criticism over the LGBT vote at the United Nations. Government says there was no decision to make as to whether they are pro-LGBT or against LGBT. Opposition said no, it was certainly a decision to make because Nigeria, Kenya, and other African countries made a bold decision against the LGBT. Where does this leave the LGBT bill, the conversation, the speaker's ambition, and the future of Ghana and the LGBTQ plus generation? Again tonight, Lawyer Anoche has come back to us with the issues about Alex Kwesi-Nsaki, but he broadly refuses the subject of the bribe. It is about the bribe that we complain because he alleged that Alex Kwesi-Nsaki had taken money to change his mind against Nkrumah. We get back to that conversation with history, with panache, and with the style of Good Evening Ghana. You have to join us tonight. All these and more, including the soccer championships going on in America, as well as the Ablekuma battle, which comes up tomorrow. Join us tonight on Good Evening Ghana. Welcome aboard. Good evening. Welcome to this edition of the program, and so much has been happening around. The other day, earlier this week, there was an event at the Marriott Hotel which has generated so much controversy. Now, the latest is that government has asked the Minister of Lands to mediate between Ibrahim Mahama's engineers and planners and the Australian company who named a mine in the Upper West region after Azuma Nelson. That's some food for thought. We'll be dealing with that in some detail. Tonight we have sad news. You already know Yakumi, the Member of Parliament for Akwetia, sadly passed. We pay tribute to him. Congratulations to Mr. Jumfor, the re-elected GJA president. We'll pay tribute to him. And then we come to Lawyer Anoche. Good evening, Lawyer Anoche, if you are watching. We are going back to the story of Alex Kwesi-Nsaki. But those are editorial matters. Big stories, LGBT vote. Did government tell us the truth about the vote? There's a lot of social media back and forth and a feisty exchange of letters, writings between people who observe the matter. Sam George eventually has also published on social media indicating that he is not happy with the vote. Is it true that he's not happy with the vote? We deal with that extensively. Also, we will be talking about the Azuma mine. I said that already. We have a big detailed research, the Bryce Simon's opinion, where did the mine come from, or everything you need to know about that is with us tonight. And then we are also learning Ablekuma. Mikael has just returned from Ablekuma. What did you find? Just give us snipers before you show us the videos.
Okay, so one thing we noticed was people were opinionated, but a lot of people were shy, were not comfortable talking. But people seem to be of the view that a Rabna Orbin should be given the nod. People think that the NDC has done well so far. the NPP, even at the time of President Akufo-Addo being president, they didn't seem to find their MP. That's what they were saying. They didn't see any MPP present. So they feel like because Irabna, one person actually said, Irabna approached her, spoke with her one-on-one. So she feels like that person needs to be given the nod. When we move over, you find some more MPP stronghold type of areas. They think that no. Ifri should be given the nod. We also find some people who are of the opinion that the whole 2/3 majority thing should be considered. It might not necessarily be a problem to give the NDC a seat that would equate a 2/3 majority because they seem to be on a good path. Some people also have the view that, well, maybe we should just pause and relax with that sort of thing. So those are the discussions.
But no violence?
Oh, so no. People hope for a peaceful election. People were saying that no, they think things will be very peaceful. We didn't encounter any opposition. Nobody.
But there's 19 polling stations
across the constituency.
Are they near each other, the polling stations?
As we were going, we would find, yes, it's within walking distance. Not necessarily so close to each other, but if you don't mind walking, yes.
So campaign is going on by the time you left there about half an hour ago?
By the time we left there, people were talking. You can see flyers all over the streets. You can see, yesterday I understand that people went on the door-to-door. Campaigning is still sort of going on. It's just that it's not as prominent. There are no rallies. You didn't hear any horns blowing or anything, music, nothing like that.
Did you see any prominent politicians in there?
At that time, no, not really.
Tonight, not tonight.
No, just everyday people.
Get the videos ready and then we can show to our viewers when it's ready. So wait for that. Abule Kumar report is coming from Mikael. Let's get onto the touchscreen now and begin our analysis for today. We're also looking at a story at the Supreme Court. You know that Mr. Sansadeli has brought an action at the Supreme Court to free himself. We're looking at it. We'll get you some details in our next edition of the program. Don't worry about that. It's 20 minutes to the top of the hour, 10 o'clock. And may you rest in peace, the Honorable Ernest Yaokumi, MP for Akwetia constituency. He was born in December 1984 and he sadly passed in July 2025. I've seen on social media many prophets or some prophets claiming they said it, they didn't say it, they said it. I don't know why all of these videos pop up after something disastrous as this has happened and everyone seems to want to take credit from it. Mr. Yaokumi was a great guy. He was very active. He didn't look like he was unwell. He was very young and agile. Even when they said he is 41, I doubted. I thought he was 35. I mean, if looking at him in Parliament, you would think that he's 35 years old, but apparently he was 41. Very good-looking young man. Sadly passed in this manner. Very, very unfortunate. May we share our condolences with his family. May he rest in peace. May God heal the heart of his political friends who are very, very devastated by the news. Say Yaokumi was the member of Parliament for Akwetia, and the by-election looms, really, and we hope to see what happens. I've heard news from Akwetia this evening when I was asking people that there's quite a lot going on over there. Ernest Yaokumi, he's received tribute from NDC people, from Sami Jemfi, Chief Executive of the Gold Board, from other NDC people who all recognize his politics and who recognize the bright potential future that he had, which has so sadly been cut off. They say that God gives and God takes. We are really, really sorry about this and we regret this process. May the Almighty God protect our important people and our not so important people so that in Ghana, life expectancy will grow. People are reading all sorts of things into it, and that's natural in a place like Ghana. When somebody like that passes, it becomes a big deal. We are sorry about that, and we wish his family the best. We wish them God's peace. And they say that the peace of the Lord surpasseth all understanding. So we wish them that peace. Ernest Yaokumi, may he rest in perfect peace. Also, tonight, we have a celebratory message. My friend Junfo was re-elected in a massive way. It turned political. That's why we didn't talk about it, because once we talked about it, it was going to weigh one way or the other. But believe it or not, from what we hear, it turned very political. Senior political figures were sending money. I mean, this country is becoming too politically polarized. GJA election to its NDC and MPP. So if I run for GJA secretary, I'm MPP, right? And if Randy Abe runs for GJA secretary, it's NDC, right? Oh my goodness! But I was delighted that he won. Now I like the reason why. I know why he was elected. I mean, he comes on the board and people think that he works for Tobinco, therefore he's MPP, whatever. But during the Galamsey, he put a strong fight against Akufo-Addo's government. And then he was very protective of journalists. Whether you're an NPP minister or NDC member of parliament, you slap a journalist, they ban the media from covering you. I was very excited about that. Jumfo showed a lot of strength, grit, in handling the GJA position. And I was not surprised that he got an overwhelming vote. I mean, people were campaigning against him. Political party officials paid 3 million Ghana cedis to somebody to ensure that Jumfo doesn't win. But he won. The money was shared. But he won. He won the election. I started panicking at some point. I called people that, Charlie, how is it? They say, Charlie, I think has 10 political law. Then they said, are you coming to vote? I said, oh, me, if I step there to become Basa, so I'm not coming to vote. But I kept being on the phone, calling people, different people. The bulk of the voters in the GJA thing is a state-owned media, Ghana Broadcasting Corporation, Daily Graphic, Ghanaian Times, and they are across the country. They are in Upper West, Upper East, Tamale, Brown Hafu, Brown East, Brown West, Northern South, Northern North, Western North, everywhere they are there. So, I mean, at the point where it was looking like political, even to some extent tribal, that's so unfortunate. I'll not even talk about it. That's so unfortunate, and we should nip these things in the bud. The presidency of the Ghana Journalists Association ought not to be political, ought not to be tribal. It ought to be for that single individual who has stood up for the rights of the media. That's about it. And Jumfo did that excellently. If you want to mark him over 10 on that, you're going to give him 9.5. This was a guy who stood up for the independence of the media. This was a guy who stood up for the strength of the media. This was the guy who reminded us of the old GJA, of Cabral Bleami here, of Giftia Fenyi Dazi, of Haruna Atta and Kweku Bako and Ben Efson, that old media that stood against dictatorship. He was very firm in defending journalists against powerful ministers who wanted to use their power to intimidate journalists. Jumfo has done a good job, and I think he thoroughly deserves another term. Now, his term is going into 2029, and so in 2028, he will be there again. So journalists, you're protected. You have a president, when the election comes and they are beating you, they are beating us, they are shouting on us, Jumfo and his executive will stand. And so congratulations to him, and congratulations to all the executives who were elected earlier this week on the GJA platform. Ghana Journalists Association will continue to be great. Okay. Everyone was sending me a video. Now, viewers, don't worry. I'm going to go to the big stories. I have LGBT, and I have the Azuma mine, the Ibrahim Mahama conflict with the Azuma mine. What our responsibility here is to give you the full details of what engineers and planners are saying in the Bright Simon's opinion. And you can put it together. And then we'll end with the government latest statement coming in just hours before we started this program. And the government statement said the Minister of Lands is giving them 7 days, etc., etc. But let's get to the story. So I was completely overwhelmed with disappointment about Dr. Anoche's presentation on Ghana television. So I came here and said that Dr. Anoche should not have said the things he said about Alex Kwesi-Nsaki. I took time to read portions of the Dark Days in Ghana. Since then, somebody has sent me the soft copy of the Dark Days in Ghana. So we'll put it on our Facebook page tomorrow. So you can all print it. It's free. It's declassified, if you like. It's free. So it's not declassified. I'm just using that word. But it's free for you to print the Dark Days in Ghana. Oscar Provençal sent me that. I have to give him credit. He sent to me and said, this is the book that you're talking about. Everybody can read it. So I came here to read Nkrumah's account of Alex Kwesi-Nsaki. Where Nkrumah talked about Alex Kwesi-Nsaki betraying him, he did, and I read it. Now, the concern with Mr. Anoche's expressions on Ghana television was the allegation that Alex Kwesi-Nsaki took money to betray Nkrumah. That's really what we talked about. We didn't say that Alex Kwesi-Nsaki did not betray Nkrumah. In any case, betray is your word. Treachery is another person's word. Another person will say that he left on principle, that he left the CPP government on principle, because the way the CPP government was set up at the beginning, for which reason he joined, may have changed. And I'm going to show you tonight many people in NDC and NPP who have left NDC to join NPP, NPP to join NDC on the same principle. So that betrayal is nothing new. Now, Mr. Anoche then comes back, Dr. Anoche then comes back to do a rebuttal. And he cleverly, disingenuously avoids the fact that he accused Kwesi-Nsaki of taking money. That was the only problem I had with him. Because in my own reading of Nkrumah's book, I outlined the fact that the Osajifo felt that Alex Kwesi had betrayed him. But Osajifo didn't say that Kwesi had taken money to do that. Anoche said something also that was blatantly wrong. He said it was Afrifa who killed General Abawa. It is not true. Nkrumah's account says that it was Kotoka who killed General Abawa. That's very straightforward. What is he trying to achieve by changing the history of Ghana? We're going to deal with that right now. First, let's get to Anoche's original video that we responded to. Let's see it.
I didn't even know that her direct uncle, father's elder brother, was this man who betrayed Kwame Nkrumah, Dr. Alex Kwesi, who took money from the CIA, and he was the most trusted confidant of Nkrumah, and told Kwame Nkrumah that Nkrumah should travel, there would be no coup, because CIA had promised him to make him the next president of Ghana. That man's niece is this man. Until all this matter, I wouldn't have known. I didn't even know that her direct uncle, father's elder brother, was this man who betrayed Kwame Nkrumah, Dr. Alex Kwesi, who took money from the CIA, and he was the most trusted confidant of Nkrumah, and told Kwame Nkrumah that Nkrumah should travel, there would be no coup, because CIA had promised him to make him the next president of Ghana. That man's niece is this man. Until all this matter, I wouldn't.
So this is the dishonesty of Dr. Anoche. You come and sit on television without a shred of evidence and say that Alex Kwesi took money. And then when we take you on, you come back with a rebuttal and you refuse to mention that he took money. Our conversation, Dr. Anoche, is not about treachery. No. You can say he was a traitor. You can say he betrayed. All that is fine. The point we are making that you cannot sit on Ghana television and accuse somebody for taking money, that the motivation for shifting away from Nkrumah's government was money. That's deviant behavior. That's disingenuous behavior that you are accusing Alex Kwesi and his family of. Kwesi has died. You are beginning to connect Alex Kwesi with Chief Justice Tokonu and say that your relatives, your forebears used to take money. So Anoche must come and apologize to Kwesi family for the treachery that he showed on television, alleging that the man took money. When he came back with his rebuttal, for 11 minutes of the video that was sent to me, he didn't talk about money. He kept talking about evidence of treachery. That's not the point we are making. Indeed, when we read Nkrumah's book, Nkrumah did say himself that Alex Kwesi betrayed him. So that's not a problem at all. The problem we have is that you, Anoche, Dr. Anoche, in due reference to you, Dr. Anoche, you said that Alex Kwesi had taken money. Where is the evidence that Alex Kwesi took money? You cannot come on television and allege things against people in that manner. That's so wrong. And you are a senior person. You are a historian. You say that you teach MBA. You say that you've done this and done that. So young people like us should look up to you. If we should look up to you, we shouldn't learn that character of this character assassination that you do. I don't know whether it's for politics. I don't know what it is for. But the fact is that you don't have any evidence, no shred of evidence that Alex Kwesi took money. When we said that, he came back with this rebuttal. Have a look.
Last week, I was here before the station of the nation, and in one of the usual conversations, I made reference to the fact that Dr. Alex Kwesi was a traitor who took money to betray his master, the then president of Ghana, Kwame Nkrumah. Now, about 2-3 days after that, I saw from various angles a gentleman by name Pauladum Ochiri, who in a monologue, in my case, there was a host and then 2 other members of the panel. Right. And one of them was a leading member of the NPP, Kofi Kapito, who could have challenged me. In his case, it was a monologue. So nobody was there to add to or take from. Host and guest played at the same time, per Adam Ochim, in which he made lots of misstatements, confused himself, except that I would need to explain to the general public, because not only did he run me down, he also discredited the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation for bringing a person like me to their studios to come and perpetrate falsehood to this whole nation. It's very unfortunate. Now, I will give him the respect he deserves, especially acknowledge him for the fact that before running me down, he said he liked the way I always articulated my issues too, and the fact that I belong to a certain caliber. That one, I'll have to thank him. Right. Actually, he's my junior many years at Commonwealth Hall. I'm a Vandal. Okay. Now, let's come to academic work. Now, if you read some of the declassified CIA documents, one published by the Chicago, Illinois Tribune, dated 4th March 1966, declassified. So it means at the time of that's a copy of it there. Where, if I'm to paraphrase, because everybody will find it on the net, where it is stated that Sir Alex Kwesi Saki, who was the right-hand man of Kwame Nkrumah, was made, in fact, he was Nkrumah's foreign affairs minister, was made to play a leading role in the coup per the CIA, because coming from the CIA itself. And at that time, Nkrumah himself did not have access to this, because it took about 30 years after Nkrumah's overthrow before the CIA document could be declassified. That was what enabled President Mahama during the 68 independence celebrations to consciously, expressly, and explicitly emphasize that it was the CIA that overthrew Nkrumah. Now, when you go to Ghana Web, they've also done a lot of research, and it all boils down to only one man in Nkrumah's cabinet that helped the CIA to overthrow Nkrumah. So the first question that Paul Adumwachiri will have to ask himself is that, over the years, how come that no minister of Nkrumah has been pointed or fingered as playing a leading role in the overthrow of Nkrumah, apart from, say, Alex Kwesi Saki? That is what he should start thinking about. The second one is the CIA's own published information. So can he say that CIA is lying against itself? Then the next one is that Paul Adumwachiri read a portion of Kwame Nkrumah's book, Dark Days in Ghana.
So you see, Dr. Anoche, I think you changed the goalpost. The issue about treachery or betrayal is clear. You can say that Alex Kwesi Saki betrayed Nkrumah. I can say that Alex Kwesi Saki had the principal change of mind. Another person can say that Alex Kwesi Saki was treacherous. But you cannot say that he took money to betray Nkrumah. That's where the problem is. And that's why I will urge you, Doc, to apologize to the family of Kwesi Saki. And I will encourage Ghana Television to encourage him to do that. He should apologize to the former foreign minister's family for alleging that the guy took bribe, dollars, millions of dollars to overthrow Nkrumah, to betray Nkrumah, when that's not the fact. Who didn't betray Nkrumah? Mention, Bedema betrayed Nkrumah. Bedema was the one who brought Nkrumah out of jail. He betrayed him. All of Nkrumah's ministers had betrayed him. Now let's get to modern day, what you will call betrayal. And you will find that is very common in politics. Let's start with Osagyefo himself. Osagyefo was with the UGCC. He left the UGCC and went to form his own party. Did he betray David Dankwa? Was he treacherous? I don't know. People can decide. Let's move on. Who is this? Wayo Seni. Professor Wayo Seni. Those of you remember a little bit. Professor Wayo Seni, I interviewed him many times. In 1998, he was a member of parliament of the New Patriotic Party. One of the closest friends of Kufuor. In fact, when Kufuor won the election in Sunyani to become the MPP's flag bearer for the 2000 election, many of Kufuor's friends, indeed, Kwame Amakotofo, told me that Professor Wayo Seni will be Kufuor's running mate because he and Kufuor had such an excellent relationship for many, many years. What happened? Wayo Seni left the MPP and joined the NDC. And what do you call that? Treachery? I don't know. What do you call that? Betrayal? Do that because it is about conscience. And people can think that I am tired with my people. I want to leave the party. Alan Chermatin, last election, he left MPP and formed his own party. So as for that, it happens. So there's no problem with Alex Kwesi Saki deciding at the time of the coup that I don't want to be with Osagyefo anymore. I'm gone. Here is Afrogbede, as they used to call him. Lord Bedema. He is the one who wrote the CPP's victory in 1951. It was Bedema's victory. It wasn't Nkrumah's victory because Nkrumah was in jail. Bedema wrote that victory. What happened to Bedema? He ran away as Minister for Finance. He disagreed with Nkrumah and ran away to Lomé, from where it is believed that he was part of those who organized the coup. But I don't have any records for that, so I won't say it. But that's what some people believe. Here is Nana Kunedu Ajiman Rawlings, who formed the NDC from the beginning. The NDC is part of her. The NDC is her, and she is the NDC. Today, as a matter of principle, she left the NDC and formed her own party. Is that treachery? Who else? This is Dr. Omani Boama. Go on social media. Kwesi Pratt is extolling the virtues of Omani Boama for him having left the NPP. One was student. Omani Boama was TESCON. Me, I wasn't TESCON. I was just doing my work at Commodore, enjoying myself. He was more MPP than anybody else. At Legon, I was in Legon at the same time with him. He was very, very MPP. On a matter of principle, he decided to leave to join the NDC. What's the problem with that? But if I come and sit here and say, Omani Boama took money from Ato Ahoy to join the NDC, that's dangerous. And I must have evidence for that. And that's character assassination of the minister. But if he just left on principle, Sam George, he was working for Aliyu Mahama, Alhaji Aliyu Mahama, the vice president. Sam George was in a more privileged position than I was during the Kufuor era because he was working for Aliyu Mahama. He deserved it. At some point, he made a decision. I don't want to be with MPP anymore. I want to be with NDC. Is that treachery? It's not treachery. But if I come and sit here and say that Sam George took money from John Dramani Mahama to join the NDC, that's wrong. And Anochi should not be saying these things about people. This is Dr. Josiah Aye. He was my own lecturer. He taught me property law. He was the general secretary of the National Democratic Congress. He left and joined Mrs. Rawlings to form their own party on the point of principle. So people deciding to leave one political system to another is normal. It happens all the time throughout the world's history. So if Alex Kwesi-Nsaki did that, he's not the first person to do that. And in any case, Kwame Nkrumah said it in the book that Alex Kwesi-Nsaki did it. Bring back Kwesi-Nsaki. But when you come and sit on Ghana television and say that Kwesi-Nsaki took money, that's the problem. So tell Dr. Anochi that our problem is not about treachery. Treachery can happen everywhere, anytime, any day. I can be standing here tomorrow on account of principle. I can say that principle, I went to some place, I saw MP people fighting, or I saw MP people doing juju. I don't like juju, so I've gone to join Julius Debra. It happens. But if you come and tell me that I have taken money from Julius Debra to join the NDC, that's character assassination if you don't have evidence for it. So please tell Dr. Anochi, let it sink in that the point we are making is not a conversation about betrayal. It's a conversation about a spurious allegation that he made, an unfounded allegation that he made that Alex Kwesi-Nsaki took money. We should not build our history like that. We should not build our history with distortions and lies. We shouldn't do that for political gain. It is terrible and it's dangerous, and it ought to be condemned by everyone. Everyone ought to condemn that. Alex Kwesi-Nsaki's family is sitting down. They are thinking about themselves. His grandchildren are all over the place. Some of them are abroad. They are working somewhere. Then you come and sit on TV and say, your grandfather took money, millions of dollars to go and join the coup. When you have no evidence, absolutely no shred of evidence. Yekokan will say, Paul Adomochi doesn't know that Alex Kwesi-Nsaki was treacherous. Nkrumah himself said so in the book. Nkrumah said so. And I'll come to another chapter about the Kotoka and the Afrifa thing. Play back Anochi's first video where he was talking about the money so that those who have just joined will understand. Anochi came to make a spurious allegation here that Kwesi-Nsaki took money. When it comes to rebut, he doesn't talk about it. He's talking about treachery. It's not treachery we are talking about. It's not. If it's betrayal, I've showed you the list. Everybody can be inside the betrayal. But that's not the point. People join policies on principle. That principle can change. You didn't show me Nyaho Tamaklo's picture. Nyaho Tamaklo, his MPP founding member. Since Akufo-Addo was elected as the party's leader, Nyaho Tamaklo says that he doesn't like the way Akufo-Addo is running the MPP. So Nyaho Tamaklo is today an NDC man. He's in the die-in-the-wool John Mahama camp. And MPP are fighting with him. Is it treachery? You can call it whatever, but you cannot come and say that Nyaho Tamaklo has taken money from John Mahama to join. That is totally bad. Horrible, wrong, a horrendous thing to say about any politician if you don't have evidence to do so. And that's the point we are making about Dr. Anochi. Dr. Anochi is great, yes, but he should apologize to Kwesi-Nsaki's family. He should apologize for coming to make a spurious allegation that he has no basis. And I keep saying, somebody in the studio was laughing. He was just happy laughing. Play Anochi's video again, the first one.
I didn't even know that her direct uncle, father's elder brother, was this man who betrayed Kwame Nkrumah, Dr. Alex Kwesi-Nsaki, who took money from the CIA and he was the most trusted confidant of Nkrumah, and told Kwame Nkrumah that Nkrumah should travel, there would be no coup, because CIA had promised him to make him the next president of Ghana. That man's niece is this man. Until all this matter, I wouldn't have known. I didn't even know that her direct uncle, father's elder brother, was this man who betrayed Kwame Nkrumah, Dr. Alex Kwesi, who took money from the CIA, and he was the most trusted confidant of Nkrumah, and told Kwame Nkrumah that Nkrumah should travel, there would be no coup, because CIA had promised him to make him the next president of Ghana. That man's niece is this man. Until all this matter, I wouldn't have known. I didn't even know that her direct uncle, father's elder brother, was this man who betrayed Kwame Nkrumah, Dr. Alex Kwesi, who took money from the CIA, and he was the most trusted confidant of Nkrumah, and told Kwame Nkrumah that Nkrumah should travel, there would be no coup, because CIA had promised him to make him the next president of Ghana. That man's niece is this man. Until all this matter, I wouldn't have known. I didn't even know that her direct uncle, father's elder brother, was this man who betrayed Kwame Nkrumah, Dr. Alex Kwesi, who took money from the CIA, and he was the most trusted confidant of Nkrumah, and told Kwame Nkrumah that Nkrumah should travel, there would be no coup, because CIA.
People are sending me texts. I'm happy that viewers are understanding what I'm saying. How can you come on television and say somebody took money when you have no evidence and you say you're a historian? Historians don't talk like that. As soon as you say something, you evidence it. You don't come and pile a set of books in the studio that Paul Adumochi you should go and read. Read what? Forget about what you read and what you haven't read. I have also read all of Nkrumah's books. I've been reading them for 20 years now, since political science. But that's not the point. The point is that you can't come on television, call yourself a historian, accuse somebody of bribery without a shred of evidence. You should be careful about that. Dr. Anoti, good evening to you. Please, let's get together. He says he's happy to come on Good Evening Ghana. If you have his number, send it to me. I'll host him on some of our historical documents. I want to begin a new podcast on the political history of Ghana. Myself and former Minister Kweko Furiesiama are discussing it. We'll start from the colonial era. What happened in politics? Why did Buzia do this? Where did Mumuni Baumia come from? In the 70s, who did what? The UNC. We're going to do a political podcast so that we can all share the history of Ghana in some great detail. Okay, now let's get to the LGBT conversation. Ha ha ha. Before then, though, let me go back to the table. Ablekuma is ready, and let's look at it in some detail. Kobe will also give us some text messages a bit later. Yes, so as soon as you spoke, the MPP people are sending me texts that you are biased. NDC are sending me texts that you are biased. I should throw you out of the studio. Who told you that? Have you done politics before? You don't know anything. But that's how the work is.
Of course, I don't know as much as some other people. Yeah. So I'm still learning. So as you watch the video, as you watch the footage recapture, you see that a lot of people are of the view that Irabana Obin should win. A lot of people say that. They say that they've not seen a free. They don't know.
Just say some people say that. If you say a lot, then
okay, then it looks like
some people say Irabana should win.
That should win,
and they make a case for it.
They do. They actually do, because they say that, for example, when the rains fall, the place is unpassable, it's unmotorable. The roads are not very good. So they think that maybe...
Which area is Ablekuma? For those watching us from Kumasi or abroad?
Ablekuma. So you take Odokor, the Odokor traffic light. You go in a bit.
That's densely populated.
Actually very densely. The traffic situation was crazy. Okay. Going to where we went to, what do they call the place? Trimamli. Moving on all the way down till I think you get to what do they call this area?
So is McCarthy Hill part of it?
No, McCarthy Hill is in Wejagbawe.
It's in Wejagbawe. So this is Odokor and where?
Odokor, moving up a bit, I think Sakaman.
Okay.
Remembering correctly. Then encompassing it bounds another Ablekuma constituency. I don't know if it's Ablekuma Central. So leading all the way into the
So it's part of the Dasoman thing?
Yeah, mostly.
Okay, right.
Then if you go down to Kaneshi, you are going toward Okainkwe Central there.
All right, let's see the video. Now. Producer, show us the video with the sound.
Aduma watchna yebekwa kotoaba. Yes, already say. O ma basabasa biamba. Yantu no asundwem. Ni obe wini. But me wish say Irablan Obri. Embra. na mi wo jide says a rabna ba bibia be change esan say 28 good years no ye hu hwi Ablikmanoff ye hu mpuntu obi a ye hwe ye niam bia wo say ye nya Ablikmanoff ye ni bi
we need a rabna because so far FEA didn't do anything for us. So right now we are waiting for a rabna to come. Then we know we have to a rabna come and work as Ablikmanoff electoral area.
No, man, tell me how no. Every me against for end it for your campaign, and the people for your campaign. When you the oh, if you are no crofuni, then it's phone wait him. And so if you on me, watch and yama, and it is phone awarding kind, Yakwa young will na, and so yan cassa, say yan, Ebia Edward ma. What do Massa? About to me free, Mr. John, me MPP, Ebia Bepe, a rabbi Nassem, and so well, we will go father Nassem. And so man, tell maybe a politics here.
Oh, there have been a winning there until say, about 20 years, ever query answer. Because me to me can't just say win a baby, and I win a baby.
Want to abandon farmer, a rabra. Since you come to want to farm and there, 50, but test time. When you dama, street ya nyem bodo kwa mu da bates wa be da mo kwan hu no ma wo ko be ni na won ya hwe nti motu wofo hu ankasa mo wo odoko twi ma me ha ma mu se development bia nkodo na fi mo bokwa akoto ama eyi mo kwa akoto ama wo fre ne mpo afriye na wo koto ma afriye na okanyo ho ka sha ibi se ni bi bo baka cho da nyem aba na otena do
oh if you why be tell previous why ade ama hada. It is a free winning car. Say you had me MPP for strong way to so winning car so happy.
To tell you the truth, no me per se a rabna winning because NDC winning wahada. And MPP in Kwana winning waha. And so far no, who shall quite cry and yea.
Some people are even saying 21 years MPP winning and nothing has been done. Are you sure?
Yeah, true. You didn't so to
I still don't really have a take, but the one who was more friendlier was the one who approached me personally. So, Irabna.
So some people think that, well, for the sake of protecting Ghana from the NDC having a 2/3 majority, whether or not they'll use it, we should just give the seat to the NPP. What do you think?
I think they having a majority power is not bad in a way, but at the same time, autocracy is not good. It's better for them to be checked from the opposition than they having too much power by having majority votes. So
for the past 8 years, no, me share that who improve. Senior hanum odoko area mu hanum teno. Sa bibi kakra me hu say why market no a road no enokro 2 months before election and yes I no eno kra nche na sign election no kra ya nto aba no kra na kwan sign status den say
ade omwewia ya che afi bia mutu omutie aha stronghold omwewia ya che afi die yeje ana yeje rabna o the number 2
the Ghana han say in Africa politics ni say o power we are bibia to do the winning aba special by election is a banketing getting there a fact we are there this opposition in any thing e won never be one yes because electoral commission also the position into here there government power but me we am rabna no go me nim there me hunu ada constituency on the me matena sa so many years me knew no
me ameka say nia we aye first na this time here then a free aye first ye gina so ye di ye pese ye den onko no ma we nso mba mba ye the same thing obini rabra obi mo no nso mba mba ye the same thing yes se nia ye pese we nko no no mbra no so no ba no nso be ye the same thing na sa na ye be den
So we've gone around the constituency collecting opinions of people. Some people seem to be of the view that Irabna Orbin should be given the nod because the NDC seems more promising. Some people think Ifri hasn't really done anything in the constituency. But as at now also, as you've considered the peace situation, people seem to be of the view that the elections will be peaceful. One major matter that has been brought up, especially by people like Dennis Abuaji on the internet, is that the NDC, if they win this seat, would have a 2/3 majority in Parliament, which would allow them to do a number of things. For example, amend entrenched positions in the Constitution, like Articles 1, 2, 4, Chapter 5 on human rights, Chapter 8 on the executive, and so on. So they seem to think that whatever the performance of the NPP or the NDC in this constituency, for the sake of not letting a government have a 2/3 majority, as we saw in, for example, in the 1992 to 1996, for the sake of not having a government have a 2/3 majority, the NPP should have the seat. Some people seem to have the view that it's not really important. Once you can trust a government with that kind of power, and they'll prove that they will not exploit it, they should be given the nod. So see, these are some of the bigger ramifications of the election. So as of now, we are in anticipation of a peaceful election, we're in anticipation of who would win tomorrow.
What are the demographics of people who live in Ablekuma?
It's interesting. As we'll find in a lot of places in Ghana, it's always mixed. Because you'll be in a place where you see somebody with a provision shop. Then you walk just a few paces on, you see a very nice fancy pharmacy. Then you move on and you see somebody with a boutique, someone a bit working class. Then you move on just a bit, then there's a very fancy boutique beside it. So it's very, very mixed. You have people who are like lower middle class to a bit more working class. Then you find one very, very well-to-do person. So it's very, very diverse.
What's the anthropological distribution? Tribal? Is it Gans? Is it Akan? Is it? I saw you conduct some of the interviews in Akan.
We came across mostly Akan speakers. There are some people who opted to conduct the interview in Ga or Akan. So it seems that there are some Ga speakers within the areas. But for the most part, we came across more Akan speakers. Or that may just be the case that people feel more comfortable speaking Akan. So it's very possible that they're a bit more Ga.
Somebody sends me a text, and thank you very much. It's a regular viewer who sends me a text. It says, the Ablekuma place is from Hansonic Junction, Kokompe, Dakuman, Sakaman, Dansuman, Asori Danho, Odoko, South Odoko Estates. Oh yeah, I know South Odoko Estates. Kokompe is interesting. They have a lot of these Aboso kind people there. And they used to have a football team called Iron Breakers because they do a lot of iron in Kokompe. Okay, so the election is tomorrow?
The election is tomorrow.
In those, is it 19 or 16 constituencies?
I would think
19 constituencies.
19 polling stations.
Polling stations, sorry, 19 polling stations. Okay. So by what, midday we know?
I should think so.
Or voting begins at 8 and ends at 5?
Voting should begin. I think the standard easy procedure. But I want to say one thing.
Yeah.
So as a young law student, I wanted to engage some of the people on some of the more legal elements of this. For example, with the whole 2/3 majority conversation. But one thing I noticed was people were either, the minute you talk about that, they say, oh, I can't talk about it. Or they want to talk, but they say, oh, let's not talk about that. I think that maybe more work towards educating the people on some of the more legal dimensions of these things should be done. Because you find that you want to talk to people about some of these legal issues.
I don't think it's something that's sitting with electorates that much in terms of 2/3.
Yeah,
what is the ramifications of a party having 2/3 majority? They
care about bread.
They don't care about that much, you know.
Yeah, but it impacts them.
And they are voting for their MP, so it's a local conversation. Do you like this or do you like that for this constituency? Not so much about what she may be doing in Parliament in terms of legislation and making laws, but what she's going to do for us. Does she understand our problem? Does she understand that like somebody said in the video, I've never seen her. She doesn't even live here. But somebody may not live there, but will be a great legislator for you. But they want the personal touch there to answer my personal questions. Whether Parliament is 4 feet, 500 and 2 billion, he doesn't care. Is Irabna going to answer my questions or is Free going to answer my questions? Then I gravitate towards that. That's something that we have to talk about as the elections approach. The broader picture of what we are doing in this constituency and how that reflects is very, very important. Because often we vote in the constituency, it turns out that the vote is usually carried across the country, that many people get surprised when they were voting for MPP in this constituency, they didn't know that MPP was winning in so many places. If they had known, all of those things happens. But it's local politics, really, really local. And perhaps those who want to contest for, do you want to run for parliament sometime?
Oh, maybe in the future.
Yes, in the future, you have to know that it's very local. It's very, very, very local, and it's important. But I'm happy that you one day we call you 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. You're able to very quickly get it together with the cameraman. Both of you have done an excellent job. Let me see if Kobe is getting some text messages before we go to the big LGBT conversation, and then we go to the Azuma conversation. We have a short time. It's 17 minutes past the top of the hour, 10 o'clock. Kobe, what are people saying?
All right, so I have a couple of text messages about the historian. So Raymond Unso says, honestly, some of the journalists are partly to blame for allowing these so-called intellectuals to mislead the public. This happens because some journalists failed to interrogate them thoroughly on the issues being discussed. I don't think these so-called experts would dare make such claims on Good Evening Ghana. God bless you, Paul, and your team. Now from Sita Abdul Khalik, he says, Dear Paul, Dr. Anoche has silently and consistently and continuously created historical volcanoes in Ghana with his biased narration of history. He has in time said a lot of things about the history of the North and Ghana that is historically falsehood. He must be careful in his thoughts about historical events and facts. Now, Kwabna Inchibwesiako says, the document the historian is referring to is a conjecture article. The author used if, and a lot of assumptive prefixes. Now, again from Sita Abdul Khalik, Dr. Anoche must be careful. Honestly, he must reflect on some of his history discussions and come clean. History is a perfect narration of the narrator based on his or her biases. Now, Kofi Jemfimafo says, I've had strong reservations about how he attributes issues to people as though he has a personal knowledge of most of the history he narrates, especially Asante laurels and decisions he confidently claims were the directive or ideas of a Akomfanoche. He should know that his broadcast audience may all not be the youthful population. Now, Yao February says, the intention of the NDC is to get the 2/3 of parliament without the support of the independent MPs in order to take absolute control of parliament. The executive and the judiciary, now the Chief Justice, is facing removal process in order to do whatever they want to do with the Constitution. It is the ultimate reason why they have fought for a rerun since the destruction of the collation process. Until now, the EC is running 19 instead of the original position of EC, remaining 3 polling stations. The enormous number of MPs in Parliament by the NDC are already struggling to reach their authority to get the needed development assistance, and they expect the committed MPP constituency, like Ablekuma North constituency, to implement their clandestine agenda for the Constitution. Now back to you, Paul.
Carlos Ahinkra is a former Minister for Trade. He sends me a text and says that tomorrow, Ghanaians will show their disapproval of NDC's machoism and destructive behavior. Ghanaians, he says, always wants peace, and the burning and destruction of electoral material after the election would be judged tomorrow. That's Carlos Ahinkra, who is writing to me. Okay, my Uncle George in Koliklote says that you really deserve a place in Ghana's history. Thank you, Uncle George. This Anoche man created a smoke for himself. Good job. Okay, thank you. I like these kind of text messages. They make my head very big. All right. Good evening to you, Carlos from Brazil. Thank you very much for watching. And good evening to my friends watching in New York. Thank you very much for watching as well. Hassan Ayariga is also watching. Okay. Now, let's get to the LGBT conversation. So, run up to the election 2024, one of the big issues that was laid against the MPP was a conversation about lesbians, gays, bisexual, transgender, queer, plus rights. A bill was formulated in Parliament by members of Parliament, thanks to Professor Michael Quay, who introduced the Private Members Bill. And I'm very proud of that because I was part of the working team of Michael Kwe to put this together, the private members bill. We always thought that Ghana's parliament must have a private members bill so that free expression is given a bigger platform in Ghana's democracy. Congratulations to Professor Michael Kwe as Speaker of Parliament. He championed this agenda and made it happen with great support from President Akufo-Addo himself. So as a result of that occurring, private members bill was, next time we'll take time to explain what private members bill is, but private members bill was now allowed by the parliament. Sam George, member of parliament for Ningo Pram Pram, Intim Fojo, member of parliament for Aston Central, Sam George NDC, Intim Fojo MPP, put together other MPs, including I believe Arnold Dombre also, and came together to formulate this private members bill, which came through as a greater human and sexual rights, blah, 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 blah. On Good Evening Ghana, we spent quite a lot of time with lawyer Moses Fuamoni, one of the proponents, the proponents of the bill, one of the sponsors of the bill. He came here and we talked a bit. He also appeared before Parliament's committee, etc. And Sam George was one of those who led the agenda against Akufo-Addo and against MPP and suggested that the MPP liked the LGBT, which was counter to Ghanaian culture, and therefore the MPP should be kicked out. When we went to Asin North for a by-election, it was huge in the constituency. The NDC had gone ahead in the constituency to tell people of Asin North that the MPP are those who are perpetrating this LGBT thing. You have to vote against them. They want another member of parliament so that they will impose on you a man marrying a man. Your sons will be marrying their friends, and your daughters will be marrying their friends. And this put that propaganda in Asin North big time. By the time I got there, we were reporting on Asin North. I went there with my team. It was all over. That's the first indication that came to me that the MPP might lose that Asin North by-election. Because this was the conversation. I'd like to show you a video of Sam George. Sometime ahead of the election. What he said about this LGBT thing. Have a look.
Vote for Paunia and Napo is a vote for homosexuality, is a vote for comprehensive sexuality education, and Ghanaians say no to Trumu Trumu, no to Trumu Trumu, no to Trumu Trumu. We need John Dramani Mahama to come and sign the bill into law. A vote for Paunia and Napo is a vote for homosexuality, is a vote for comprehensive sexuality education, and Ghanaians say no to Trumu Trumu, no to Trumu Trumu, no to Trumu Trumu. We need John Dramani Mahama to come and sign.
Ghanaians say no, Ghanaians say no. That was Sam George, the Minister for Communication, shouting on top of his voice, as he should do, at a rally to promote the candidature of President Mahama and to darken the candidature of Mahamadou Bawumia and Matthew Poku Prempeh on the account of a choice for homosexuality or a choice against the prevalence of homosexuality in our society. I believe that many Ghanaians agreed with him and agreed with the NDC that they didn't want this LGBT thing. And I've told you here, viewers, before, that Moses Fuamoni will call me many times. Paul, talk to the old man. He has to sign the bill. You can talk to him. And you call me, Paul, have you seen the old man? I said, yeah, I saw him last night. Did you tell him to sign the bill? I said, yeah, I mentioned it. What was his attitude? I said, he didn't say anything. He said, but that's not good. He has to sign the bill. Otherwise, you guys are going to lose the election. The old man must sign the bill. Moses Fuamoni said that to me many times. Okay. So, the old man didn't sign the bill. The election was lost. Today, Sam George is Minister for Communication. Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa is Minister for Foreign Affairs. John Dramani Mahama is President of Ghana. At the United Nations, a voting came up. What was the voting about? The voting was about UN Human Rights Council said that they put in a committee that will be working on granting rights, all rights, to LGBT actors in the various countries of the United Nations. So they are looking at a working paper where it will be imposed on all countries as a sort of international law, a sort of international protocol, that in your country, you have to guarantee these fundamental human rights to LGBT people. What are some of these rights? The right to associate, the right to protest, the right to demonstrate, the right to do pride march, the right to engage in homosexuality without being beaten, without being harmed, without being affected. This was the vote that came before the United Nations. Nigeria voted, no, we will not give them any rights. If they are doing homosexuality, it's against our law. You can't have rights. Kenya voted, no, we will not give them any rights. If it's against our law, we won't give them any rights. Ghana abstained, and then the conversation began. Why is Ghana abstaining? Abstain means Ghana says, I don't know whether it's yes or I don't know whether it's no. I don't want to vote yes or no. Majority of the countries voted yes. European countries voted yes. Majority of African countries voted no. But let's see this. It's here now. Ghana abstained from a United Nations Human Rights Council vote to renew the mandate of the independent expert on protection against violence and discrimination based on sexual orientation and gender identity. So this United Nations experts are there to against the protection. They are protecting LGBT against violence, discrimination based on sexual orientation. So violence based on sexual orientation. If you see people kissing at the Independence Square, you cannot beat them. You cannot do it because you have to accept it. Something like that. All right. Now, the government of Ghana, yes, the press release. The government, let me get to the press release, please. The government of Ghana, after this vote and noticing the consternation in the media, issued a press release according to the foreign minister. Ghana's vote on renewal of the mandate of independent expert on protection against violence and discrimination based on sexual orientation and gender identity at the 59th session of the Human Rights Council, United Nations. The statement is in Accra on 9th July 2025. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs has closely monitored media commentary on Ghana's vote at the 59th session on the human rights on the resolution of the renewal of the mandates of the independent expert on protection against violence and discrimination based on sexual orientation and gender identity. The ministry wishes to clarify as follows. 1. There was no vote on the support of LGBT for which Ghana abstained, as has been wrongly reported by a section of the Ghanaian media. That is false. 2. On Monday, 7 July, Ghana abstained from the HRC's vote on the renewal of the mandate of the independent expert on protection against violence and discrimination based on sexual orientation and gender identity. The question before the council was whether the persons who identified as LGBT should be protected against violence and discrimination or not. It was not about support for LGBT rights. But what are they talking about? What is he talking about? You say it's not about support for their rights, but it's about their protection. What are you talking about? If you don't support their rights, you don't protect them. If you support their rights, you protect them. It's as simple as that. It's a mathematical equation. I support Asante Kotoko, so I protect it. I don't support Accra House of Folk, so I don't protect Accra House of Folk. Simple. I support LGBT, I protect it. I don't support LGBT, I don't protect it. So you cannot say that the vote was not about supports, it was about protection. You cannot distinguish. The two are intertwined, they are interlinked, they are organically related. Ghana abstained in the vote to be consistent with Chapter 5, Article 17 of the Republican Constitution of 1992, which specifically prohibits discrimination on grounds of gender, race, color, ethnic, All of these matters were raised in the Sam George bill. That the bill that Sam George is supporting, that Parliament passed, is running counter to the protection under Article 17 of Chapter 5 of the Constitution, which is entrenched. They said, no, it's not. This is higher than that. This is about protection of culture. And I agree with them then. I still agree with them now, but I don't agree with this. The resolution requests the independent experts to continue to report annually on the implementation of the mandate to the Human Rights Council and the General Assembly, blah, 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 blah. This is the statement that the government released. Our understanding of the traditional definition of gender is the male sex or female sex, especially when considered with the reference to social and cultural differences. Similarly, sex, in our view, refers to either of the two main categories, male and female, into which humans and most other living things are divided and used for statistical purposes and policy monitoring. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs, it says, is very mindful of the Ghanaian public's general opposition and the government's strong stance against the subject of LGBT rights and will not act in any manner to undermine the position. So this is what the this government put up. But if you look at the commentary thereafter, it would have been better if the government didn't put up any statement, because the commentary came thick and fast. It came down, lock, stock, and barrel, heavy on Ablakwa's small shoulders, and he couldn't handle it. In the end, Sam George publishes on social media that he himself disagrees with the government position. I'll show you all that in a minute. Barrister Richard Delasky offered what I thought was one of the most succinct responses to the government, and this is how he put it. I read. Respectfully, he says, I offer the following remarks with due respect to the Minister of Foreign Affairs and many distinguished minds who serve at the ministry and beyond, even as I remain compelled to speak candidly. My wise Anglo forebears once said, even the chicken's rear cannot guard its secret when the wind decides to speak, unquote. Put another way, the privacy of the chicken's backside is often betrayed by the wind. He goes on. The attached press release from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs is a masterclass in strategic evasion, hoping curious minds will fail to see through the veil. After years of loud incendiary rhetoric about the anti-LGBT plus bill used as political currency in opposition and to inflame populist sentiment, the government now pretends the recent UN vote was apolitical and procedural. But you cannot build a political brand on cultural purity, sponsor a bill that criminalizes identity, threaten dissenters, and then feign neutrality when the world asks a basic and harmless moral question. Should LGBT plus persons be protected from violence and discrimination? To say the vote was not about LGBT plus rights is troubling intellectual dishonesty that will appeal only to the uninitiated. The resolution is precisely about protecting LGBT plus individuals from harm, something any nation claiming to uphold human rights should embrace. Yet Ghana, what's the word he used? Abstained. And then, when under intense fire, cloaked that decision in a hollow appeal to constitutional non-discrimination. This is not consistent. It is cowardice, says the writer. It reveals a regime caught between international expectations and the ghost of its own populist manipulations. The abstention, far from being a principled stand, exposes the deep contradiction between Ghana's global diplomacy and its domestic political theater. As I wrote earlier, he says, to abstain is not neutrality. It is the silence of uncertainty, or worse, the cowardice of calculated diplomacy by a regime birthed in part through the cynical weaponization of anti-gay bill. Vindication, he says, is in the womb of time. The chickens are coming home to roost. You see, that's why we have to do politics in another way. The new generation, going into 2028, NDC, MPP, let's do the politics in another way. Because if you come and be shouting these things, it will come back and bite at you. Now we are calling on the priests, all those priests who supported the NDC, the religious people, the archbishops, the bishops, the cardinals, who supported the NDC on account of their side and position on the LGBT, to come and ask Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa, what is going on? The Speaker of Parliament, the Right Honourable Alban Sumanu Kingsford Bagbane, had said even after being elected a second time as Speaker that over his dead body will the LGBT bill not pass. Sam George has said this evening that the LGBT bill is 3 weeks away. Last 2 weeks, he said 3 weeks away, so we have 1 week more. We don't know whether it's going to come. Parliament will pass it. We are waiting to see when it will be on the order paper of Parliament, when it will come on the agenda of Parliament, so that President Mahama can consider it. So that the NDC can walk the talk with Ghanaians when they talked about LGBT. Otherwise, it's going to be another election matter. Let's see what Sam George wrote. Let's see. Let's see what Sam George wrote. I'll come to. No. Let's go to the ILGA. Yes, that's the document. Were you able to put it through? Okay, no. Now, this document was put up by Intim Fojuo, the other sponsor of the bill. Now, Intim Fojuo said, if the bill was not about LGBT, why is the LGBT community celebrating the vote? including celebrating Ghana's abstention. This is what they said. The renewal of this mandate is a spark of hope in a time when reactionary powers worldwide are trying to dismantle progress that our communities fought so hard to achieve. No matter where we come from, the color of our skin, or the faith that keeps us going, we can all agree on the simple truth. No human being should face violence and discrimination, and there is simply no exception to that. With this vote, states showed they can live up to their commitments to leave no one behind. We will continue working with the independent experts on SOGI to ensure that they turn their pledge into concrete action. So this is the LGBT group. We're celebrating the vote. Government of Ghana, the same government of Ghana that was in opposition that said this is terrible, refused to vote no. Nigeria voted no. Kenya voted no. And all of the others. So this one was between the principal NDC appointee, Eduji Tamaklo, the lawyer. He said, I just read a short piece from my brother Richard Sky, the one we referred to. He created the impression that Ghana abstained from a vote on LGBT matter. Completely misleading. This is what happened. There was no direct vote on LGBT at the UN. There was a vote on the extension of the mandate of the independent experts on children, blah, 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 and Ghana abstained. The resolution on accelerating efforts to eliminate all forms of violence against women and girls, which was the main resolution, was passed by consensus. No country called for a vote. My brother Sky produced the question that was voted on, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so he said that. He published that. And then somebody on social media, a regular person, harshly responded. Let's have a look at the response as well. Okay, so a lady called Ajua Enima says, it's amusing how Eduji Tamaklo is accusing others of misleading the public when he is the one actively deceiving his followers, NDC foot soldiers and Ghanaians. Ghana abstained from voting on the renewal of the mandate of the independent experts on protection against violence and discrimination based on sexual orientation and gender identity. This vote had nothing to do with gender, human rights, children, or women, as he falsely claims. The issue was straightforward whether or not it should be considered unlawful to discriminate against LGBT persons. Out of 47 countries, 29 voted yes to uphold protection against discrimination. 15 voted no, effectively reinforcing their opposition to the recognizing or protecting LGBT identities. Ghana was among the only 3 countries that chose to abstain entirely. John Dramani Mahama, the president, deliberately avoided declaring his stance not out of principle, but out of political convenience. He feared alienating powerful international allies whose aid the country depends on. Don't let these hypocrites twist the narrative. Miss Adai, she calls herself. What did Baumia say? If you do propaganda with something will expose you. Regular social media people are coming out. And I'm excited to see the young people in Ghana coming out to speak. This is not NDC or MPP. This is principle. You stand by this principle, you have to hold it. You hold it together. You don't use a principle to win election and then come and say something else. You stand by the principle, you hold it together. That's what happens. So you look at that. That's Eduji Tamaklo. And I was watching social media. They had a cartoon. Oh, these people are terrible. They had this cartoon there. And they have the UN headquarters there. And then you see President Mahama running and Ablakwa running. And Ablakwa is telling him, this was a big trap. Cartoons are not disrespectful according to the UK courts. They are not even actionable. They are just used on public persons just to make a point. So I don't know who did the cartoon. What's his name? His name is Panla. Charlie, the guy is good. You know, in those days they used to, in the NDC news, but they used to cartoon me funny, you know, they'll cartoon me anyhow. And when I talk about Akufo-Addo, the people will be sending it to me, they are laughing at me. I like this one. I don't know who's running faster, but I like their blue suits. Very, very well sorted. But President Mahama doesn't have plenty gray hair like that. They should stop that. And Ablakwa, okay. This was a big trap. Whoa. Anyway, that's interesting. I saw this monologue by journalist on Adum FM. She was very, very angry with the LGBT process and the process that has occurred. I'd like you to hear it. Have a look at it.
Sir, Obana, Bema, Nissa, a grown yedu on my CJ as a country. I was here sorry. Because CJ Ban is saying, and you see the narrative a bit more try say omode bebano na enye voter ye de ka say ye mom tumi anase ye mom fa hodie so omonya na so omonye ye nyina ye nim o kan o de myjoyonline.com kwadomonline.com ko other online portals ahodo. It is stated said the independent expert no a wano na dwuma ayese wo ye hwehwemu eba no the rights for wodi e wose wo ma wo LGBTQI+ plus na wo no chese bi betumi abeka ho ye dad ye chia de so bi betumi abeka ho sa right na wose ye protect no eno ho aba na wo mo ekwakoto se nipa na dwuma na oye no and resolution na wo ma die tum no chese eye binding amanya wodo a ese UN ewo UN mu nyina ye de Ghana ha ye we ye wo UN ensem bebre na se wo mo ehye bebre no a ye de yensa hyase a atete yen ye wo se ye de ye adwuma enti eba ne sense CJ me pesa me kya wade wo ha ye hwa mama bia wo Africa se omo kwa omo vote no omo nya kokuduro e vote no e wo UN council no CJ Algeria Burundi, Congo, Côte d'Ivoire, Ethiopia, Kenya, Morocco, Nigeria, Togo, Eritrea, these countries, they voted no. It's yebisa yaba mumpenyu for. Yebiso mo in charge of your foreign affairs say, eye slow. E di nti no mutume kwata akwa vote say yem vote. Ye ya dantam. Papa oboni o ye wom. When you want to say ye ni mubio. So what ye vote? Said that independent expert now no edini juma the rights of sabe ye kofisiba ye yusu sa wede no the right of baba nene wo baba man hye wo haya eni ahibia o eni ehunu say yankasa babia ye nyina yakoma wo eni ye kasa Ghana ye mudie ejina nipa binya kokodro begina ho no mema ne mema o befefe wo ma no kire yen enti ye bisasa ensema yete ye ebibia na ban biti so yen no ma yete hei ye kaseti e pass ye nyina na obi ani wo fo so enye me deda nyame mpangu se meda so na me ba ma so akwakofa ba ma de ba me abna pokwa me fie nyame ompangu mani kwa chichiri na yete ase ne ase ye kwa voti CJ e wo mu say the vote na ka e be vote bia na nya significant after all we countries wo mu no vote no Dodro na e vote yes. It womu die no na ejina ye. But at least nka oman Ghana be make a statement say. Yeti Ghana ye de day. Na ye see a parliament. Speaker say boss afini koda wie ye no. Ye be hunu ho akwan so oman ne be je tum. Na wakwa kodru United Nations. Wakwa tena council so. Wosuma kwa vote a. Kwa vote yes or no. Na momo ti asese asoman Ghana. Ye values. Any ye quarter. Any ye systems no etia. Wosuma kwa abstaining. Mami won't abstain as your chance or no dear or nyina baby on the one to because a bit to say they am peneso, a bit to swabo peneso, Ghana de antohe. Your patron penny for the city of Metemu. Or munina sonny diet on abstaining from Savotino. What were your grounds, sir? Would you take it a decision on behalf of Abraham Committee, hey, on behalf of Ghana? And some Mokate in opposition and a Yehuniana CJ LGBTQ plus. Ena ye huni kwato aba na wiase nyina hunu se Ghana mfo aso na emra na CJ ye no samra kroya ena sa resolution abai no ebe combat because omo tese omo wo rights ewo mo liberties ewo mo freedom yete aso se ye besemra na emra no wo se wa Ghana akodo bi man so asan de me de minti to aba se empanyfo me chebo ma CJ e de nti mo si sa gina no be se ye komo nyina ekoso no Christian Council Yente monka ye wo hase ye wo carry bishop conferences yente monka madaroma ye wo other religious organizations e wo man yimu ebre twemu ye ne mo na edi nkomo back to back e fa sansem we hu mama yente monka wasade akoso ye hu yente be kaya no ntum CJ
As for the LGBT matter, we won't stop talking about it until the bill is signed. Kobe, do you have some text messages quickly before we go on to the Azuma issue? What are they saying?
Thank you, Paul. So Yao February says NDC in opposition largely used the LGBTQ to campaign against the NPP because President Nana Akufo-Addo did not assent to the LGBTQ bill when he saw some clauses that needed an amendment. This same NDC in government have had the opportunity to vote against the LGBTQ right to prove to Ghanaians at the UN summit that they do not support LGBTQ. They rather abstained, meaning it is not a priority to their government. Their action has confirmed the reason why the government did not utter any comment against the two gay South African partners that were kissing and romancing at the Independence Square after the criticism from Ghanaians and minority members of parliament. Now, Samuel Ofusuba says, does it mean Samuel Kujutu Ablakwa doesn't understand his own written English brought to the public domain, or is he being sarcastic by the statement put forward? Vindication is in the womb of time. The Nkrumahs, Dankwas, and the ancestors who sacrificed their souls for better Ghana might be weeping for how their legacy is being distorted and broken ethically. Now, Citizen Francis says, Sam Okudzeto Ablakwa's attempt to justify Ghana's decision to abstain from the UN vote on LGBTQIA+ rights is disappointing. This was a straightforward vote. Either support the protection of LGBTQIA+ rights or don't. But choosing to abstain, Ghana effectively aligned with those in favor, despite all the noise the NDC made before the 2024 elections. Countries like Cote d'Ivoire, Ethiopia, and even China voted no, without resorting to violence against LGBTQIA+ individuals. So claiming that abstention was about avoiding harm doesn't hold water. This signals that President Mahama may not be as committed to this issue as he wants us to believe. Let's not be fooled by vague language and spin. We see through it. Now back to you, Paul.
All right, let's get on to the touchscreen once again and deliver the matter of Ibrahim Mahama and Azuma Resources. When we were young, Azuma Nelson here had one of his important fights with a guy called Jeff Fennick. And producer, don't add this one. Don't add this. This is just talking. Don't add it. Azuma Nelson delivered a big fight with a guy called Jeff Fennick. They fought twice. Jeff Fennick was an Australian. We're just trying to suggest why the mine is named Azuma. And the Azuma name of the mine is actually named after Azuma Nelson, the Ghanaian boxing legend who is part of WBC's Boxing Hall of Fame. The Zoom Zoom, we used to call him. Now, Azuma fought Jeff Fennick on 2 fights. The first one was a draw, and the next one was Azuma won it. It was staged in Melbourne. The first one was in Madison Square Garden in... no, that's not New York. Las Vegas. Madison Square Garden in Las Vegas, the first fight. It was a draw. We were all sitting on tenterhooks. The 3 judges gave it a draw. One judge gave to Azuma, the other one gave to Fennick, and the third one said it was a draw. So it was a draw. So the fight was rescheduled for Melbourne, Jeff Fennick's hometown, and everyone was afraid. Before Azuma went for that fight, he went for blessings from Fly Lieutenant Rawlings. Azuma, the boxing fight was in March, so I'm guessing it was March 1993. This guy went to J.J. Rawlings for blessing, and then he skipped his Christmas. He went away in November to prepare for the fight in Melbourne in Australia. Azuma outpaced Jeff Fennick on the night, beat him up and knocked him down. Azuma Nelson became the undisputed WBC and WBA World Featherweight Champion. So this man here is an Australian. So he comes to acquire a mine in Ghana. He says that, well, the only Ghanaian name that I know that is so prominent is Azuma Nelson. So I call the mine Azuma Mine. That's all you need to know about why the mine is called Azuma. Incidentally, Azuma Nelson was present at the Engineers and Planners event, the signing of what they call the 100 million something, something, something. Okay, so this is the background. Forget about it. Now let's get into the story. The company at the center of it all is called Azuma Resources Ghana Limited, or Azuma Ghana. It was incorporated in February 2005 with shares held in the Isle of Man by a company called Eagle Hand. Its antecedents, however, are in Australia. The overseas entity was registered on 23rd December 2004 A little under a year later, it listed on the Australian Stock Exchange, blah, blah, blah. In January 2006, the company, Azuma Resources, was officially admitted, blah, blah, blah. All of this is just background, not too necessary. Azuma Resources came into existence through a series of strategic acquisitions and exploration efforts focused on Ghana's Upper West region. Here is the breakdown of it, and this is where we start. Formation and early exploration of Azuma, 1990s. The Black Volta Gold Project area was first explored originally by BHP. 1998, the Kunche ore deposits was discovered by Ashanti IAMG Gold. 2006, Azuma Resources acquired the project, initially holding only the Kunche deposit. It was listed on the Australian Securities Exchange. Azuma later discovered the Bikpong ore deposit and acquired the Julie deposit. Between 2006 and 2017, the company conducted extensive exploration and drilling, leading to multiple resource updates. The ownership transition, the story gets better. In 2017, Ibera Capital, a private equity firm, entered via a 5% earn-in agreement. In March 2020, Ibera Capital acquired 100% ownership of Azuma Resources. So this is where it begins to get very interesting. Ibera Capital has acquired 100% of Azuma. After all this mine, that mine, AGC discovered, some people go and find money through Ibera Capital. They buy. We have to find out how much they pay to the Minerals Commission, to the government of Ghana for that. But they acquired 100% of the mine. Okay. So this is now Azuma Resources. This is the gold mine. 100% belongs to Azuma Resources. Who is Azuma Resources? Ibera Capital. Who is Ibera Capital? Some Australian people. Who are the Australian people? They are also listed on the Australian Stock Exchange and the Securities Exchange. You can find them. But they own this mine. Where is the mine? Upper West region of Ghana. All right. Now, Azuma Resources entered into an agreement with Ibrahim Mohammed's company, Engineers and Planners, where Engineers and Planners will pay Azuma 100 million to acquire their concession. So this was properly done. Engineers and Planners, Ibrahim Mohammed's company, in 2021, 22, 23, get into conversation with Azuma. Charlie, you guys will buy your mine. At the back of it, there's a story in the Engineers and Planners document that Azuma was owing the Ghana Revenue Authority some $5 million of money they couldn't pay because exploration was not working, gold prices were down, so they owed some money, something like that. And that's at the back of the story. It is in the Engineers and Planners document. So here, Engineers and Planners said that we will buy your mine, and both parties agree that it's 100 million United States dollars. Okay. It will seem that over time, there was disagreement over the sum to be paid because of an increase in the gold prices, which Azuma believed should also reflect in the value of the mine higher than the gold price value, should reflect in the value of the mine higher. Gold prices means higher value of the mine. Okay. So this is where the confusion starts. $100 million is agreed in the document. But it would appear that from the document, the 100 million, which is the value of the mine, is pegged at the gold price of the day. So I have gold deposits. Today's price of gold is 2 cedis. So I have 500 gold deposits. 500 times 2 is 1,000. So it's 1,000 cedis. So my mine is 1,000 cedis. Then later on, gold prices come up to 6. So 500 times 6 is 3,000, isn't it? So now my mine is no longer 1,000, it's 3,000. Agreement says the value of the mine. So at this stage, Engineers and Planners have to pay Azuma 100 million, but Azuma is saying that no, this is your 100 million there. No. So they go to courts. Engineers and Planners sue in international arbitration that Azuma is reneging on their promise. Azuma too says that you have not even paid me the 100 million according to the timetable we agreed on. So fight has happened. ECOWAS Bank for Investment and Development, they are on this side. EBID was supposed to send 100 million to give to Engineers and Planners for acquisition of the concession. So EBID is to pay Engineers and Planners 100 million. Engineers and Planners is to pay Azuma 100 million. Okay, let's move on. Engineers and planners failed to make payments as and when due to Azuma. And when Azuma purported to terminate the agreement, engineers and planners took the matter to the International Court of Arbitration in London and sought an injunction to prevent Azuma from getting new investors for the Black Volta mine. Okay, so Azuma says, even they said it in their recent press statement, where is the 100 million? Azuma says, I can't find the 100 million you promised me. The threshold for the promise has passed. So I'm not going to sell the mine to you anymore. I am terminating the agreement. So Azuma writes to engineers and planners to terminate the agreement. Engineers and planners say, sure, are you sick? Honey, we'll sue you. You said you are going to give me the mine. We have agreed on 100 million. Now you say my money has delayed, so you are suing me. When I've been paying 500,000, they agreed on some $500,000 to be paid. Engineers and planners claim they paid it twice or 3 times. Azuma people say that the money was paid to people that engineers benefited from. That's a whole different matter that we are not talking about now. But this is the real situation. So Azuma purports to terminate the contract. Engineers say that you can't terminate the contract. We'll sue you in arbitration. I'm sure that the suit in arbitration is pursuant to an agreement in the contract that all these agreements will be settled by international arbitration in London. Okay, so that arbitration is pending. Whilst the arbitration is pending, or one more step, whilst the arbitration is pending, engineers and planners take out a writ in Accra, the High Court, to prevent Azuma from engaging with other buyers, very similar to the international arbitration suit. And they are asking for an injunction on Azuma that they cannot talk to anybody until the final determination of the arbitration. The Accra High Court says, yes, Azuma, you can't talk to other people until the final determination of the arbitration. Whilst the arbitration is on and they are waiting for it, they wake up one morning and they find that Ibrahim Mahama and Ibit are signing a beautiful agreement at the Marriott Hotel. What is the agreement about? Ibit is giving Ibrahim Mahama, as they promised, they gave them a letter of intent, $100 million United States dollars for the purpose of acquiring Azuma. Azuma writes to engineers ahead of the event, saying that you cannot do that. You are already suing us in arbitration. As far as we are concerned, we have terminated the contract. You say that the termination is unlawful, and therefore you are suing. How can you be suing and be proceeding with the arrangement and the contract that we have terminated? This is the matter. Anyway, the event goes on, and it says, despite the failure of EMP to pay the sum owed by June 30th, 2024, and the pending suit at the International Court of Arbitration, a signing event was organized on the 8th of July between EMP and EBIT, the ECOWAS Bank, for a loan facility of 100 million to acquire the Black Volta mine of Azuma Resources. Let's hear what Sam Jonah said. He led the event for engineers and planners. Let's hear what he said, and then I'll come and continue the story about who is EBIT Bank and what are the players in and why people are speculating on all of this state capture. Do you have the video ready? Let's see it.
This is not a favor. There is no political patronage here. This is not crony capitalism. This is not about friends and family. The deal we are witnessing here today was actually initiated as far back as 2023, October, with no fanfare, no interference, and no backroom dealings. It is, in every sense of the word, a commercial transaction built on merit, backed by a strong balance sheet. This is not a favor. There is no political patronage here. This is not crony capitalism. This is not about friends and family. The deal we are witnessing here today was actually initiated as far back as 2023, October, with no fanfare, no interference, and no backroom dealings. It is, in every sense of the word, a commercial transaction built on merit, backed by a strong balance sheet.
So, Sam Jonah KB says that this is not political interference, this is not family and friends business, and etc., etc. All right. Now, the conversation continued. Are they going to give me another file? The conversation continued with the issues about why EBIT Bank is coming in. So then eventually Azuma presents a press release, And in the press release, they say Azuma Resources wishes to formally distance itself from a document currently circulating in the media purported to be an invitation to a facility agreement. Blah. This is the one before the event. And then they have another one after the event where they write that people should completely dissociate themselves from this. And they also allege that whatever happened was against the reputation of engineers and planners. Then engineers and planners also issued their press release and said that the government of Ghana gave a lease to Azuma, blah, blah, blah. From 1992, the company was unable to commence any significant exploration. In 2022, the company, that's Azuma, was indebted to the Ghana Revenue Authority and the Minerals Commission to the tune of $5 million. The Ghana Revenue Authority had obtained a judgment in both the High Court and the Court of Appeal against the company and was going to sell the assets of the company. Gold price was low, and so the owners of the company wanted to sell what was left of the company and for the new owner to deal with the risk. Additionally, engineers and planners say the political instability in the neighboring Burkina Faso posed an elevated risk for any more investors. 7. Engineers and planners say in May 2023, the shareholders approached EMP offering to sell for $100 million. EMP accepted the offer and the risk, despite the value of the project being estimated at less than $80 million. The project acquisition and development agreement was signed, the shareholders agreement, in October 2023. That's what Sam Jonah may have been referring to. Per the agreement, the $100 million was to be paid in 2 equal installments of $50 million on June 24 and $50 million in June 2026. By an email exchange between the parties, the first installment on June 2024 was amended to December 2024. Per the agreement, EMP immediately took control of the project and funded the operations of the mine on an average of $500,000 monthly from November 2023 to date, and last expense was June 30, 2025. Per the agreement, EMP appointed 2 representatives. EMP don't say whether they were able to pay the amended date of 31st December 2024. They don't say that, but they said that there was an email that amended the agreement and the obligation. It actually amended the obligation to pay $50 million on a certain date. That $50 million will now be paid on December 2024. It would appear that they were not able to pay that money. They, however, say they funded the project by $500,000 per month. Per the agreement, engineers and planners appointed 2 representatives to the board of directors of Azuma Ghana in January 2024. Per the agreement, EMP was responsible for raising the finance to develop the project. Indeed, a top executive of the shareholders of Azuma from Australia accompanied officials of EMP to Lomé, Togo, to visit and hold discussions with EBIT towards the project. EMP says that they managed to renegotiate the existing liabilities to salvage the entity. They say further that in August 2024, a gentleman named James Walbank, director of Azuma, started making demands to increase the price of the project from $100 million to $300 million. His reason is that after the contract was signed in October 2023, the price of gold increased by more than $100 million. EMP rejected this proposition and insisted on paying the original value. This led to a dispute, and EMP commenced arbitration proceedings in October 2024, asking for an order for specific performance of the contract, particularly when Azuma claimed to have unilaterally terminated the agreement. 20. EMP also filed an application in the High Court in 2024 asking for an order for EMP to continue to discharge his obligations under the contract and exercising his rights under the contract until the determination of the arbitration. The High Court upheld the argument of EMP by ruling in June 2025, ordered the status quo to remain for contract to be enforced. In effect, the alleged termination by Azuma was held by the court to be of no effect. Now, Azuma disagree with this chapter 20 of the EMP document. They said all what EMP obtained from the court was an injunction pending the final determination of the arbitration. EMP mentioned arbitration here. They don't say that arbitration has been completed. So let's go. Meanwhile, EMP made a formal application to EBIT in early 2024 for a facility of $100 million to pay for the shareholders. EBIT finally approved and signed the facility contract to give EMP the $100 million to pay to Azuma. Addressing the false allegations in the media, EMP only signed an agreement to acquire Azuma after the elections. Okay, EMP said that this is not political because they didn't do the agreement during the elections. They answer all the allegations of the elections. In conclusion, they say that there's a deliberate effort to create conditions that will have made it difficult for EMP to raise the required acquisition capital. There is a vested interest in EMP's failure to raise the funding to open the avenue for some of the directors of Azuma to unduly take advantage of the significantly higher gold price. EMP has already obtained a no objection letter from the Minerals Commission to acquire the mine. EMP will continue with the process in line with the agreement for IBID to make payment to the shareholders. EMP will commence development action, blah, blah, blah. Ghanaians, Ibrahim says, should support their own and not allow mercenaries to divert attention from this historic project. The first time ever for a wholly owned Ghanaian company to acquire a large-scale mine. Okay. So EMP say that they went into an arbitration. The arbitration is not completed, but they found money with IBID. Now, where is the allegations of state capture? The two directors that EMP appointed onto the Azuma mine are the managing director of the Ghana Infrastructure Fund, appointed by the president, and the deputy managing director of SNIT, appointed by the president. IBID is an ECOWAS bank, so the leadership moves from ECOWAS countries. Currently, IBID is chaired by Ghana. Ghana's finance minister, Kaysel Atuforsen, is the chairman of IBID. There he is. Kaysel Atuforsen is the chairman of the board of governors of IBID as a rotational policy for the ECOWAS bank. So those who are alleging state capture are saying that, how do you have a bank that the finance minister is chairman of? You have two directors who are working with Azuma. Both of them are government appointees of John Dramani Mahama's government. How is this not state capture? But is this state capture? I don't know. But the truth is that Kaysel Atuforsen is. What is real is that the government of Ghana, okay, I have this. Now I'm moving to the minister's statement. What is real, though, is that the government of Ghana seems to have recognized that there's something not altogether correct or something that has to be resolved. So this evening, just before press time, a document emerged from the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources. It's signed by Emmanuel Amakofi-Boa, MP, Minister for Lands, and it refers as follows. It says, I refer to your earlier correspondence. Is writing to the, who is he writing to? Let's get that again. He's writing to the chairman, Azuma Resources Ghana Limited, Accra. Attention, James World Bank, and the chief executive officer, Engineers and Planners Company Limited. Alajo Road off Olusegun Obasanjo Highway, Abelempe. And it says, DSS, writing to both of them, but it says, I refer to your earlier correspondence in respect of the above subject matter, as well as the various press releases and public statements that have since been issued concerning the dispute. In the light of the circumstances, I have decided to grant the parties a final period of 7 days within which to resolve the matter amicably. Should this period elapse without a mutually agreed resolution, a decision shall be taken in the best interest of the country. I strongly urge all parties to refrain from addressing this matter through the media and instead focus on constructive dialogue and responsible engagement. Consequently, the Minerals Commission is directed to facilitate and support the parties in resolving their differences in order to ensure that timely commencement of the project. Emmanuel Amakofi-Boa, MP, Minister. So a lot is left to be seen how this will be handled by the government, given the sensitivity of the personalities involved. Engineers and planners are already calling on the Mineral Commission as being on their side. They are talking about how they can get the Mineral Commission is really on their side. So the questions that have to be answered are, is there a dispute to be settled between the parties? Well, I don't know. Has the seller, Azuma, agreed to sell? You answer that. Are the parties still in litigation? Yes, they are, because they are in an international arbitration. Can ENP pay back the money it has taken from IBID? What's payback? I don't know. Payback means what? To recover the loan? I don't know. Were all board members and shareholders of Azuma on board in the acquisition process? There were certainly two of them. Was the event, which was with so much fanfare, meant to celebrate the purchase of a mine or an acquisition of a loan facility? These are the questions that we are asking about what happened. So this is to be closely monitored by civil society, by journalists, by lawyers, and by industry experts in the mining sector, and those who are hoping that the mines of Africa will belong to Africans in the near future. That's a big expectation that we have had for a while. But this is to be critically observed. John Dramani Mahama is in the center of it. Ibrahim Mahama, his brother, is in the center of it. His government is going to negotiate and mediate between the Azuma mine people and them. Minerals Commissioner in the center of it. All of this is happening 6 months after the election victory of John Dramani Mahama. That's very, very interesting. This is our simplification of the Azuma mine project with our brother Ibrahim Mahama and our father Sam Jonah both of them heavily involved in working on this acquisition. I guess people have questions to answer. It's 11 minutes past 11 o'clock in the night. What are people saying, Kobe?
All right, thank you, Paul. So, Victor Manihe says, clearly, Azuma Corporation is trying to engage in profiteering and taking advantage of engineers and planners. Every sale is a point-in-time decision and not dynamic. Now, Chief Manasseh says, Paul, was that Dr. Sam Jonah speaking boldly like that? What a wow. A corrupt mind is more dangerous than AIDS. That is a Senegalese proverb. This government has no shame, and the friends and family business has just begun. I am sorry for my beloved country in the care of Mahama's government. Now, Patriotic Soldier says, I understand why Ibrahim Mahama gifted Azuma Nelson a brand new Toyota Prado. Mr. Paul, the Mahama family is in a bloody fight to loot Ghana's gold from Azuma Resources, AEZU. The resetting, upgrading has begun. Now, Abdul Shiraj says, Mr. Paul, please tell Mahama to make sure he sells Ghana by the end of his 4 years so that we can all collect our money and go our way. And finally, Eja Kaude says, Ghanaians deserve whatever we are going through today. Mahama will sell everything to his brother before December 2028. Now back to you, Paul.
Let me say thank you to those who are watching us from all the way in Kuwait. I can see you, I can feel you. It says, Paul, we are watching you live from Kuwait. It's almost 1:40 a.m. We can't sleep until good evening Ghana has ended. Thank you very much. Another one says, hi, Paul, this is a great simplification of the whole confusion. Was Sam Jonah aware of all of these things when he spoke and led the event so brilliantly? I doubt if he was. Well, I don't know. Paul, Ibrahim Mahama is your friend. Have you spoken to him about this matter? Oh, yes, I have. Yes, I have. I have spoken to Ibrahim about this matter. And then another one says, Paul, you are not highlighting Bright Simmons enough, but it appears that most of your summary is from him. Yes, that's correct. I've spoken to Bright Simmons as well. And yes, a lot of the summary is from him. Combining his work and the engineers and planners documents is how we got the summary. That's correct. That's correct information. Another one says, I'm a Reverend Minister in Bolgatanga. I'm watching you. When are you getting to Parliament to become a full politician? Hallelujah be to the resurrected Lord. Okay, viewers, I have to leave it here. Is there something else? Oh, the Foreign Ministry cartoon. We'll do it later on. We'll do it on Tuesday, and then we'll take the court case as well. It's been a long week, and we are sorry for not delivering a live show last Tuesday. I took a short break, as I thought I deserved. I'm still very tired. I'm going to spend the weekend resting. Thanks for watching, and good night.
Watch it, na learning. Missy, watch and learn. Makwaya mabesisia. Abozig. Akache say no ya konate and the more drink woman. Hey. But I didn't mean. Oh, sorry. She knew her old dish. Eji. Dabio, baby wom. Ready. Hey, baby wom. Ajay! I'll cause some discomfort. Sorry, uncle, where would the dad? Why your funeral? At your phone for Aerofield Trading. Sorry, it killed them all.
No mum share Nanda Daya was mosquito call Esudu Womunumu. Na say spray with them musa. Chaisima edronum ansana ko dynamo.
And Kratoi FDA Ajatum.
I'm a branch manager. Of course, I accept only quality and affordable printed souvenirs for my promotional campaigns.
I'm the head of academic affairs of a very important institution in Ghana. Of course, we only deal with quality, reliable printing companies for our institution's printing materials. I'm talking about appointed time printing.
Appointed Time Printings. We take pride in our extensive print scope that transform your ideas into captivating visual masterpieces. We delve into the core objectives and vision of each print project. Precision printing is at the heart of our printing process as we meet your tight deadlines. Our rigorous inspection, color verification, and overall printing excellence are assured. 20 years of printing excellence. It's always a pleasure working with you to create a vibrant, dazzling printing experience that gives you a masterpiece. Appointed Time Printing, your world of quality and affordable printing.
A home is more than just walls and a roof. It's the warmth of family, the assurance of security, and the joy of shared moments. Whether you're returning from abroad or seeking a new beginning, Rehoboth Havens Ayimensa is where your journey truly begins. Nestled beneath the tranquil Ebri Mountains, this gated community offers the perfect blend of modern living and natural beauty. Our 2, 3 and 4 bedroom homes are designed for family living with spacious interiors, elegant finishes, and all the comforts that make life better. From cozy living rooms for bonding to modern kitchens for culinary creativity and private gardens for peaceful reflection, every space is thoughtfully crafted. At Rehoboth Havens, your children play safely, your family grows joyfully, and your memories are built on a foundation of care and community. Starting from 675,000 Ghana cedis with flexible installment plans, your dream home is within reach because everyone deserves a place to truly call home. Rehoboth Havens, where futures are built and dreams come to life. Call us on 0553 751933 or 0206 823524 to secure your future today. Rehoboth Social Housing, your housing dream becomes reality.
I'm here at Mycom JA Limited to show you the Promethean Active Panel, the ultimate tool for corporate institutions, hospitals, schools, and your home. With its crystal clear 4K display and an unbreakable screen with an ultra responsive touch technology, this isn't just a screen, it's a game changer. For corporate institutions and in schools, this active panel can be used for Zoom meetings and PowerPoint presentation. And oh, your homes are not left behind. You can use it to watch all your favorite programs by just connecting to a Fire Stick, and you can get access to channels like Netflix and Amazon, and voila, you are in there. At Mycom JA Limited, we provide you with the best quality products from the United States of America with 1-year warranty. You can get an
MGL Logistics and Supply is your trusted partner, providing seamless solutions for all your procurement needs. From sourcing products to managing imports and exports, we ensure smooth and efficient transactions every step of the way. Whether you require goods from across the globe or need assistance in exporting your products to international markets, we got you covered. General trading is at the heart of our expertise. We specialize in a wide range of products, catering to various industries and markets. As a trusted dealership in building materials, we provide high-quality products that meet the demands of our construction projects. Additionally, we act as manufacturers' representatives, connecting producers with distributors. Our expertise in logistics is the backbone of our operations. We plan and execute transportation and delivery of goods, ensuring they reach their destination on time and in optimal condition. MGO Logistics and Supply, guaranteed satisfaction.
In my line of work, a confident smile is everything. Kale Charcoal Toothpaste keeps me on top of my game and ensures my smile is always radiant and bright.
With the tiring nature of my job, we spend several hours under the scorching sun. To keep our teeth white and our breath fresh all the time,
we use none other than Kel Charcoal toothpaste. Kel Charcoal toothpaste. You're on a Kessie and in a kit one.
Samayo Kendini, a who be here, Semetra Sapapadia to Amame Manfo, Kel Charcoal's natural ingredients, and a bomb is so by a man is swing, Nesanso Mama Hotoso, a will beg you.
Kel Charcoal toothpaste. Choose Kel Charcoal toothpaste for anti-cavity, whiter teeth, and fresher breath all day. Available in 80 gram and 150 gram. Grab yours today.
Kel, happy smile. This advert is FDA approved.